Geek Cross. Hi, my name is Anna.
And I'm Peyton.
And today, what are we doing today?
Today, we are catching up on more K-pop, and we will be looking at 2 songs by artists that neither of us know much about, but we're still really excited.
So the 2 videos we'll be watching today are HND, Hangyul and Dohyun, Soul, and then the second video we're watching is Hansungwoo's Sacrifice. These are a little bit older than like the previous K-pop catch-up videos that we've been doing, but that's also just because like they were requested later, you know? So like, sorry about that time difference. Let's just get right to it. We have no idea what to expect. This looks like it's gonna be really angsty.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how to feel about that because we know how young Dohyun is.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's like a baby.
Oh.
I don't know what I expected his voice to sound like, but it wasn't that.
No, I've read posts where he's like a baby but is like tall and has a deeper voice than people will expect. I like his tone. Hangyul. It's very like warm, you know? Oh,
their outfits are so pretty. The leg that looks like the rose petal in the picture.
But this pre-chorus and chorus are very unexpected based on the first verse. Yeah, what?
I just can't wrap my head around it.
That he's a baby face. Yeah, that's why I'm like. Wait, he's the Instagram video British accent. It's him. He's the little, you know what? I was like, where? Okay, sorry.
Wow.
I'm just really, the synths that they use are like pretty bright for the aesthetic of the music video.
Oh really?
I feel like it's one in specific, one part specifically I'm thinking about. Yeah, the beat of silence or whatever. It's that line, the one in the background. The song is very different from what I expected based on the beginning.
What does the car mean?
I don't know.
Help.
I don't know.
I will be completely honest with everyone. Once I watched the live stage, I did like it better, from a dance perspective at least, than I liked it in the music video. And the reason for that is, in the music video, they're using so many backup dancers, and they're all dressed almost exactly the same. Yes, like Hangyul and Dohyun have the like cloths draped from them, but even then it's just a very little splash of color, so it doesn't really differentiate them very much, especially in like the white scene. And so it felt kind of overwhelming and almost like I couldn't differentiate what they were doing from the backup dancers. But then when I watched the live stage, they were dressed completely different, and I was like, oh, okay, now I can see, and that made it a lot more enjoyable for me. But about the dance, the one thing that stuck out to me the most, and that I thought was the most interesting, because it is a duet, is that they don't often dance directly side by side, at least in like the parts that I can remember, at least especially in the chorus. Oftentimes you would expect for the verses them not to be completely side by side or like moving around, but in a chorus, since they're in the center, you would think they're right next to each other. Most of the time, one is behind the other, and usually Do-hyun is behind Hangyeol, which like makes sense from the song perspective too, because Hangyeol is singing most of the chorus. But I thought it was actually really cool because the parts that Do-hyun has, first of all, it makes him feel kind of like a shadow to Hangyeol. The parts that he's saying in the chorus, like the welcome to my soul, it's like really deep. It might be because in the live stage, at least, it's like traveling further to get to you or something, but it feels like it's coming from a different place than where Hangyeol is singing. Also because his voice is so much deeper, and because he's set back, it really does start to feel like something from like inside is speaking to you. And I thought that was really cool. I was like, ooh. And then the other thing from, this is music video specific, I really liked the splashes of color that were like motifs throughout the whole thing. They have like handkerchiefs hanging off of them when they're in the all white outfits that have just a little bit of red or blue. There's also a lot of shots of a white rose in the music video, and as the music video goes on, it starts to be filled in more with the colors of red and blue. And then I was also like, and Hangyeol's hair is like, has the red like brushed off of it, and I was like, that's so cool. Honestly, it made me think of Alice in Wonderland and like the painting of the white roses scene, which I don't think is what they're going for, but there was so much symbolism honestly in this music video that I was like, so much of this is going over my head, but that part is sticking out to me. Yeah, Anna's turn.
So for my comments, I actually don't have too much to say just because the song is pretty repetitive. Just to start from the beginning, so the beginning of the song, like first verse, is pretty minimal, especially compared to the rest of the song. Like it does have the synth sounds that are used throughout the rest of the song, but the distinct difference that you can tell that this is like a quieter section is because when it's counting on the beat, it's using a snap sound, and then later on in the song, when it counts on every beat, it uses a clapping sound. Moving on, like chronological order. So then in the pre-chorus / chorus, it introduces a bass and it adds more different synth layers and just like layers in general to the instrumental. But because it adds the bass, and also there's like a rhythmic syncopated synth line playing, I was getting like club beat vibes, more like a house music, which is what I meant in the reaction, where I was like, oh, this feels like kind of weird. There were like certain shots in the music video that I felt like, huh? For example, there's that scene with like the pillars, and then also like when they're laying on like a bed of flowers, or like that picture painting of the rose. I was like, those feel like very refined shots, but then I'm hearing like house music, and I'm just like, oh, this doesn't match up. But then like there are other shots in the music video that made sense to me, like on the dark backgrounds when they have like the strobe lights or like the neon lights. I was like, that makes sense. What my eyes are seeing and what my ears are hearing, it matches up. But like I mentioned in the beginning, the song is pretty repetitive. So to be completely honest, one thing that I wish is that the song had more contrast. After the first verse, the rest of the song feels like it's just at this level the whole time. And that's not to say that there aren't distinct sections in the song, because obviously like there's a distinct pre-chorus, chorus, verse 2, like the rap section and bridge, and then chorus again. The differences are very slight, and they're all using the same instrument percussions and like the same synth sounds that are being added or taken out. So I wish that they had just like switched that up a little bit more, especially since like the choruses were the same as well. Even like an extra vocal riff would have been great. That being said, I don't want to end my comments on a negative note, so I really wanted to say though that I do love both of their voices. Like I really enjoy their tones and like textures. But yeah, that's all I really have to say. Next.
So now we will be reacting to our next song for K-pop catch-up, and that is Han Sung-woo from Big Tan in his solo debut Sacrifice. This happened in August.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
So this is different.
They both start with a car though. But also, the only thing that I know about Han Sung-woo is that he is older than I am. Like he is a man. He is not a child.
He's just been looking down this whole time. Oh, just kidding. He just looked down.
There we go.
His voice does not sound like what I was expecting.
Nope. Not at all.
The layered vocals. Oh.
What is that sound in the background?
Huh? Oh, they sound like... I'll tell you later, sorry. Wait, what? I just made me laugh. I'm so sorry. My mind just registered what I was seeing. Sorry, I was like, what?
Oh, I wonder what his tattoo says.
Where?
He's got a tattoo on his collarbone.
Oh. I still can't get over how his voice is not what I expected to hear. Sorry. Oh. Distorted voices.
That's a really cool shot with him in the white, and then all of the background dancers are silhouette.
Oh. Oh. I want to hear him sing this live.
Interesting.
Because there's a thought in my mind, but I need to check it first.
Let's talk about dancing first. One of the things that I noticed about his dancing that you can see in the music video, particularly in the water scenes, I guess because that's the part where they're letting him be the most free with dancing, but also in the other dance scenes as well. He has really good musicality. And for a soloist, I would argue that that is more important than like a group member having musicality, because you have to command the whole stage by yourself. Even if you have backup dancers, like the focus is not supposed to be on them. And so if you don't have the musicality, it would feel very awkward. You could tell that he was feeling the story that he was trying to tell and also feeling the music of the song. And I felt like a really good example of that, other than the water scene in the music video, was the part in the chorus where it's not the sacrifice like release moment that starts the chorus, but the part where it's like, I just gotta sacrifice, and then there's like something in the music that's a little bit more flowy, and he really like bounces between more like staccatoed movements and like the flowier ones. But even then it's not staccato because the music's not like ba ba ba, but it's like there's beats in there, and I can't. Yeah. Like, it's so interesting. It was like a really good moment to show his musicality. And then also, I thought the music video was really interesting. Honestly, this is not what I was expecting for the song based on the music video. So the music video, the elements of it, are meant to get your heart racing. First of all, it opens with a target over his face. and then like that goes away and it's him in front of a sports car and the wheels start revving like it's gonna take off, and like from there the music video just builds on that. The flashing lights, the water dance scenes, and even like the softer scenes. Like I would argue the softest scene in it is when it's just the white like sheet background and you can see the wind blowing it. It's like gentler, but it's not gentle. Like it still has like enough movement in it that it's noticeable, so it's meant to make your heart race. And then the song itself, like he started singing, I was like, oh, this is like smoother. So I was like confused, but also it worked. So I don't know, still wrapping my head around it. Anna's turn.
I feel like I need to like acknowledge it and also somewhat apologize that I didn't have a lot to say for the reaction when we were watching the video, because my mind could not, like, was in the middle of processing still the entire time how his voice is just so different from what I was expecting. And I know you shouldn't like judge a book by its cover or whatever, but based on appearance, like from the beginning shot, I was expecting, to be completely honest, kind of like Hangyul's voice that we just heard in the previous video. But instead he has like a very high tone. This song is really interesting. To me, it felt like it kept going back and forth and sometimes mixed between this feeling of like a very trendy song versus a more like sentimental, emotional sort of ballad. There are moments like the second half of the chorus or like the second verse where there's a lot of synths and there's like a lot of syncopation, different rhythms, and also in the music video, the shots where he's dancing with all those background dancers. Seeing those shots, the feeling that it gave me was like trendy hip-hop dancing, that vibe. But then there would be moments like the pre-chorus and the beginning of the chorus, just chords and like a bass playing just like one pitch, and he's singing like very delicately or like long sustained notes in the chorus. So it was just very, I don't know how to describe it besides interesting. Also, one thing that established like the more delicate feeling for me was in the beginning, the snaps. He has snaps on the beats. And like another thing contributing to that is like when I think about the chorus, the phrasing is very ballad-esque. I just gotta sacrifice. But then like the sacrifice, that one word sustained for a very long time across multiple notes, so kind of like running down. It's very typical of that style. But then it's contrasted with like all these distorted synth sounds that are happening too. Like Peyton, you mentioned in the reaction, you were like, oh, what is that sound in the background? I feel like it was supposed to like imitate the effect of horns, or like just very distorted horns. Like I was like really intrigued because there's a lot happening, but I was just also like really confused. The reason why I was kind of smiling during Peyton's comments is because I wrote down a note for, there's this one part that I liked, which was the pre-chorus. During the pre-chorus in the music video where it's like the billowing white sheet in the background and he's like very small at the bottom of it. Essentially all you're hearing and focused on is his voice and the bass. There's a couple more layers, but that's the main focus of it. And then you see the billowing in the background, and the way that the bass is being re-emphasized makes you feel like you're not floating, like flying floating, but like floating, being blown away by the wind. So I thought that was really effective, which is why I really like that part. But yeah, sorry my thoughts are all over the place, but that's all I really had to say.
TLDR is we did another K-pop catch-up with two groups, or I guess they're not groups, with a duet and a solo that we really didn't know anything about before this. But that's one reason that we like doing the K-pop catch-ups, because it means we get exposed to more groups and artists that we are not familiar with. Yeah, I think it was really fun to actually get to know them, because I think we've both heard a lot about H&D and Sungwoo.
So that being said, if you enjoyed this video, enjoyed our reactions, are fans of H&D and or Sungwoo, then please leave a like, comment, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and bye!